Notice is hereby given that the above called meeting of the governing body of the City of Balcones Heights, Texas, will be held on Wednesday, April 30th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Justice Center, located at 3300 Hillcrest Drive, Balcones Heights, Texas, 78201, to consider and act upon any lawful subject which may come before said meeting, including, among others, the following items to be discussed and act upon: a call to order and recording of quorum. So call to order, and we do have a quorum with 5 city council members. The mayor is not present, so as Mayor Pro Tem, I will be presiding over the meeting. We will do the invocation and pledges of allegiance to the USA and Texas flags.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we are gathered here today to form judgments and make decisions that will affect the lives of those committed to our charge. Please give us wisdom and understanding. Guide our decisions. May they be fair, just, and merciful. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. At this time, we will enter the public comment period. At this time, citizens who have filled out a registration form prior to the start of the meeting may speak on any topic they wish to bring to the attention of the governing body, so long as the topic is not on the agenda for this meeting. During the citizens to be heard section, no council action may take place and no council discussion or response is required to the speaker. Citizens who wish to speak on a specific agenda item when that item is called for discussion must first fill out a registration form prior to the start of the meeting, indicating which agenda item they wish to address. So we will go in order from in which they were received. Ms. Weaver. Thank you. Please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes. And if you ask for extension, I'll provide one extension up to 3 more minutes.
I can't hear you.
Yes, so you'll have 3 minutes for your comment, and if you need an extension, I'll provide it up to one extension for up to 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Well, greetings, council and members and the citizens of Balcones Heights. The people of Balcones Heights elected Mr. Rodriguez as mayor because we want a real change in the city. The city council should be working with him to make things better for everyone, but instead they've been treating him with disrespect, and the city government has become dysfunctional. The meeting last meeting, they walked out. Does that show the citizens that they care? No, it just shows that they're upset. When the mayor pointed out that the city was spending too much money and the employees' salaries were higher than any other cities your size, the council started fighting against him instead of fixing the problems. Rather than focusing on improving the city, the council has called special meetings like this one to push their own political interests using city money and resources for their own agendas. And this isn't helping our community. It's hurting it. And we, the residents, the ones who pay are the ones who pay the price. Our city's debt has gotten worse over the past few years. The council even decided to buy part of Wonderland, created a corporation, and borrowed money on it without asking citizens whether or not they approved it or they thought it was feasible. You know, because a lot of people have other ideas, and we didn't have any input on it. And then when they don't make the payments, the city is the one who's responsible, because that's where the corporation is, where the EDC is. And so we end up paying because they can't make the payments. So that's another burden we have. As far as Proposition A, the policemen get higher raises than I've ever heard of. I've worked in the hospital for 50 years. Every year I get a raise, 3%. And if it's a cost of living raise, 3%. And I have to prove myself. This, according to this proposition, they don't have to prove themselves. They just give us a number and say, okay, this is what we want. This is what we're going to get. And that's not right. I would, I couldn't get hired like that. They wouldn't let me stay on if I just walked up to my boss and said, hey, this is what I want. And I understand that you had a contract, and I still don't understand why the citizens never knew about it until now that we need to get rid of it because we can't afford it. And I just don't understand why nobody wants to help Mr. Rodriguez. I mean, we voted him in, and maybe he's not who you wanted, but we voted him in, and you should respect our wishes also. And I think it's the council's duty to back the mayor, to help the mayor, not belittle him, not pick on him, not harass him, but to help the mayor. He may not be the one you wanted, but he's the one we got because the citizens voted him in. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver. So the second citizen to be heard was myself. I will go to the podium and make my statement. Oh, Frank, do I need to do that, or that's what we were directed by?
No, sir.
at the-
I watched the meeting from the last. It is not appropriate for an elected official to be a citizens to be heard. They can speak on agenda items as an elected official, but a citizen to be heard is they can bring up any topic not on the agenda. An elected official is a member of the governing body, and he would be communicating with the other members of the governing body. And if it's not on an agenda item, that would be a potential violation of the Open Meetings Act. The members of the governing body cannot participate as citizens to be heard.
Okay, and that includes all members of
All
the
members, that includes the mayor and all elected officials, because as members of the governing body, they cannot take off their hat and become a citizen because they are still members of the governing body in the meeting of that governing body.
All right. Well, thank you for that clarification.
I have a question on that. A little bit of research I've done, it's contradictory to what we're being told now and what we've done in the past. I just want to make sure that if we're going to move with this portion to where the council members cannot speak on citizens to be heard, do we need to get off, or we just don't have the option?
You do
Just-
not have the option, period. Mr. Beck tried to make that communication at the last meeting
Mhm.
and was basically overruled.
Right.
But a member of the governing body must comply with the Open Meetings Act. And if they are discussing an item not on the agenda at a council meeting with a quorum of the body, that is a potential open meetings violation. The citizens can speak on items not on the agenda.
Right.
But council members cannot take off their council member hat and become a citizen to speak to the remainder of the governing body. This is, there's actually a case out of North Texas, and that's one of the ones that Mr. Beck tried to mention at the last meeting. And so it is my opinion now, I can be overruled by council and y'all can continue doing, is my legal advice that a member of the governing body cannot appear during citizens to be heard,
On none,
non-agenda items.
okay.
Thank you for that. The next resident is Mr. White. Again, Mr. White, please state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes. If you need an extension, I'll provide one extension up to 3 minutes.
Greetings, council. Happy PS. Glad everybody could show up. Let's start with a audio. I tried to do video and audio, but we'll see what came up. It was Police Officers Association. Is that better? Thank you. Go ahead and run it. So Balcony Heights is the butthole of San Antonio, and Target is the Dillards of the hood. That, ladies and gentlemen, is slander. Anyway, I've noticed a lot of anger and hate over the last year in this council chamber. If you feed this, it grows into manipulation, coercion, followed by force. It's important that as council people, even citizens, that we check ourselves. Last meeting, I saw a lot of council members get up and leave just because things were not going your way. I guess you think this shows character. It shows that you're weak. I expect you to have more integrity, to stick things out, and get through the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. The next citizen is Mr. Hernandez. And again, I'll give you the same courtesy of 3 minutes. And if you need an extension, I'll provide one extension of up to 3 minutes.
Thank you. Chairman, council members, city leaders, and fellow citizens of Balcones Heights. Tonight, I speak not just for myself, but for many residents who want real progress in our city. We're tired of political distractions and personal attacks that do nothing to make our community safer or stronger. Every time you focus on tearing down Mayor Rodriguez's reputation, you're not just hurting one person, you're damaging the reputation of our entire city and discouraging the very investors that we need to bring new life to Balcones Heights. Our crime rates are among the highest in the state, with property and violent crimes affecting families every day. All the while, less than 14% of our crime prevention budget is actually going towards prevention. That's not good enough. We, the citizens, are asking for practical solutions. We need to invest in real effective measures that make a difference, like lighting, cameras, and community programs to deter crime and help our police do their jobs more effectively. We want to feel safe walking at night and know that our children are protected. But our safety isn't our only concern. We want updated parks and recreation facilities and walking trails that connect our neighborhoods. We want covered school bus stops so our children aren't left standing in the rain. We want to see Fredericksburg Road and our commercial areas thrive with economic development, bringing in new businesses, jobs, and opportunities for everyone. Instead, too much time is spent on political infighting. When you focus on attacking each other, you ignore the real needs of our community. Your negativity doesn't just stay in this room, it spreads, making it harder to attract new investors and making residents lose faith in their leaders. So I urge you, listen to your citizens, focus on what matters, our safety, our parks, our children, and our city's future. Stop the political games and start building the city of Balcones Heights. We all deserve it. Since 2023, over half of our police officers have left, resulting in a significant turnover despite the collective bargaining agreement being in place. Clearly, it isn't working as advertised. Citizens, let's move forward together and demand your leaders put your needs first. If you want real change, vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next citizen is Mr. Gillian. Again, Mr. Gillian, you'll have 3 minutes, and if you need an extension, you'll.
Lamar Gillian, 324 Glenarm. Actually, my comments tonight was in reference to the meeting on the 21st, and they were really to be directed towards the mayor. In that meeting, I was not allowed to speak under citizens to be heard. In the quote, the mayor said, since Mr. Gillian did not fill out the agenda item in his request, he's not allowed to comment, end of quote. The mayor was obviously wrong. I will read what's on every agenda about the public comment period, also known as citizens to be heard. Please, if you have an agenda with you tonight in front of you, you can follow me along. Quote, it says this, public comment period. At this time, citizens who have filled out a registration form prior to the start of the meeting may speak on any topic they wish to bring to the attention of the governing body, so long as that topic is not on the agenda for the meeting. During the citizens to be heard section, no council action may take place, and no council discussion or response is required to the speaker. Citizens who wish to speak on a specific agenda item, when that item is called for discussion, must first fill out a registration form prior to the start of the meeting and indicating which agenda item they wish to address. And having heard some of the other comments tonight, I don't want to get into a rough discussion about what's right and what's wrong, but in my military career, I went to several leadership schools, and I did so also as a civilian for the Air Force. And one of the things, basic things that we learn about leadership is respect is never demanded, it's earned. It's earned. And how's it earned? It's earned by your own actions. And I appreciate Mr. Hernandez coming up and speaking and saying what he did, but I was here in 2000 and 2002. And what we're seeing in this council today and in this mayor is the same belligerent, down-talking, patronizing person that he was then. But in this case, it's twice as bad as it was then. I don't think anything's going to happen until a little humility comes back to the council. And I think that starts in our leader, and he needs to lead by example. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gillian. That is all the people that signed up for citizens to be heard. So we'll move forward to the business items. Number 1, discuss and possible action to update the city ordinance regarding access to secure areas of the Justice Center for city council members and the mayor. And this was brought forward by me. So the reason I put this on here, despite some claims that this is a personal attack against the mayor, is that an incident occurred earlier this month where the mayor was escorted into the building, and he's required to be escorted in the building and throughout the building at all times because he has not completed his background check for CJIS. So the CJIS protocols require that anybody that has unescorted access to the building have a completed and passed background check. Those that don't have that background check must be escorted at all times. Anytime they are left alone is a violation of CJIS protocols and could result in the city losing its license to do background checks and to run license plates. So in essence, the police officers would lose the ability to do a lot of what their job requires. So as they're driving, if they see a speeder or something like that, they couldn't run those license plates to determine if that person has warrants or anything like that. They'd have to call another agency and have them potentially run that for us, slowing down their efforts and impeding their ability to do their jobs effectively. So this was a violation when the mayor was found by himself in the city hall, and it has led to an inspection that is coming this June, where CJIS will be inspecting our building and our procedures to ensure that we're doing everything we can to stay in compliance with their protocols. So I believe that we need to update our ordinances because we cannot take the chance of having people that are not, allowed to be in the building unescorted, walking around the building without an escort. Mr. Sellers.
Do we need to update the ordinance or enforce the ordinance already there?
That's a good question. So I'm not sure if there's actually an ordinance in place.
If I may
But-
speak, sir?
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Johnson.
just for a couple of clarifications, when I first started, I was advised that we could escort individuals into the area. Unfortunately, that day, I was out at a funeral for a chief of police of mine in another city, and I had asked my staff members to take care of my duties that day. They were unable to maintain that for the entire time, so that's one of the issues. One of the clarifications that I asked, one, we don't have an ordinance in place. We've got policies, I think that the chief and I have researched, I've talked to our city attorney about, so it would be very beneficial to the operating procedures of the city if we could get some direction from the council as far as what they want. One of the unique issues that we have is this was just solely a criminal justice center. The city was moved into it. Some city non-police personnel were moved into this area. And the building is unable to or hasn't been sectioned off not to have an entire CJIS policy in place for the entire building. Am I correct, Chief? There's limited access to individuals, which is the hallway or the lobby here downstairs and the lobby upstairs, and that's it, correct?
Yes, sir.
So we could get some direction from the city council as far as we are gonna adhere to nobody coming in, you know, unless your CJIS approved, then we can focus on that. But if we still have the ability to say, hey, we'll escort you in, then it's a little tough for some of the staff to be able to do that, because I know that the chief and I have gone into detail about, I think even the training room upstairs is open to non-CJIS personnel, but as soon as they step out to go to the man or the ladies' room, that's a CJIS area. So it makes it very difficult for us to do. I know that we've talked to finance about sectioning off a portion of the upstairs that'll be just police and leaving the rest non-CJIS, but it's expensive. And of course, we don't have the funds to go into that type of remodel. So clarification from the council as far as what you would like us to move towards, or direction to the city attorney and myself to draft, you know, any kind of policies that we may need. That may be something that we have to look at. For the future, I know I've had some individuals come in, and when I'm here and I'm focused on whatever. My staff, of course, have other duties other than that. So I take ownership for the incident. It's unfortunate, but you know, I've got some ownership in that, and it won't happen anymore when I get the details from you as council.
Did you have any other questions, Mr. Sellers?
Yes, I did. Excuse me, Jack. The only time I ever come in is check my mail, and I have met with our finance manager, and in the future, I'm going to meet with you. But I don't have a key to the door. The doors are locked. Someone has to open that door for me. Is that the case in all the doors?
If you don't have the access card, yes, sir. Anything that has an access card, that's,
So
I guess,
whoever
considered a
opens
restricted
that
area.
door, whoever opens that door for me, escorts me in.
And that's going to be the person that's responsible and has to stay with that person.
And that is all, that is not on the books now. That is not the ordinance now. Is that what you're saying?
It's on policy, and the policy is extremely cumbersome, I think, Chief. There's, you see all those pages on that. So if we could have a simple SOP to say this is how it's gonna be, and the staff knows, then we can follow it, so.
All right, that's it.
Mr. Burton?
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I don't have a problem getting my background check. It's probably already been checked, I'm sure. I don't think anybody of the council should have unfettered access to those hallways. They could walk by and see evidence or something in one of the offices that's not appropriate, and you're just walking around back there. And I'd like clarification on the day of that incident, when you were at the funeral. It was for, the mayor was in there for an interview. And after the interview, I believe Ms. Merlo left for just a moment to go get papers for the mayor to sign, and that's when the incident happened, and she came back, and that's when the whole incident happened. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I don't know.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
So he wasn't wandering the halls, correct? He wasn't wandering the
He
halls.
was in my office.
Right. And so she had left for a moment to grab papers, and that's when a council member and police staff went over there, and that's when the incident happened.
And like I talked to you and I've talked to the rest of the council members, my staff members are my responsibility. And when they have to execute their duties, they're just executing their duties because that's
Well,
their job.
I'm just being clear, because they're making it sound like he's walking around and going through, the whole justice side. He was just strictly in your office and not walking around to Lisa's office or anything. She came to him to sign papers, and then he would have left.
I was out of the office, but that is what I am aware of.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm still saying, I don't think any of the council members should have unfettered access up there. If you need to speak to somebody, like what I do, if I need to speak with Mr. Floyd or yourself or Miss Lisa, I make the phone call. I'm not taking them away from their duties. I'm calling and reserving my spot to speak with you for however long we're going to talk for. I'm not going on the police side, or unless I need to speak with Chief John O'Hara, in which case I would come to you first and say, hey, I need to speak with Chief John O'Hara. That's what y'all wanted beginning of this year, is to go through the chain of command. So we shouldn't have access up there. We have no business having access up there. But, if you want me to get my ID checked, I ain't got no problem with it. But I don't think I want the liability if I'm back there and then all of a sudden something happens up there. Oh, well, Mr. Burton was up here too. I just don't think that's a good idea for any of us. You're just putting yourself out there. So I can speak with you and Lisa. I do call and I make an appointment, and then I come see you guys. That's the chain of command. That's all I have to say.
And I believe, just for clarification, again, all council members have been doing that. They've come to me at that point and given me the respect and the position before they go anywhere else. But the bottom line is we need clarification on what you'd like to see so that we can know, we'll have one standard operating procedure to avoid having these incidents come up where we have to get an inspection done to make sure that we're in compliance. As long as we're all on the same page, then city staff and myself, we have no problem following it to the T.
I just want to make sure that I'm not going to single anybody out here, but it was a councilman that was going behind the scenes while the mayor was in the office, and then went over to the police and let them know that he was in the office by himself. Correct?
I do not know that. I was out of the office, but I know that the police acted because of information they received.
Right.
So that's where I'm at on in regards to that. They were executing their duties like they were supposed to, and unfortunately, it turned out to be a bigger event than it needed to.
Correct. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carson? Want to point out that the council has adopted a council relations policy. This policy has section 12 in it that talks about giving keys to council members to the Balcones Heights Justice Center. It doesn't talk about background checks or anything like that, but if council's looking for a place to place it, since this is already talking about giving access to council members, by providing them keys to the Justice Center, this may be the appropriate place to revise and bring back this to council to amend their council policy at this section, because while it talks about council members being able to have keys to have access to the building, there's nothing in the policy currently, and I don't remember when this was added. It may have been 2019 when it was added, with regards to the CJIS requirements. So this may be the appropriate place to look and adding something and bringing that back for council consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Valverde, did you have?
The only thing I was going to say is that why make it so difficult? This stuff is serious. It's connected with the FBI and the Texas DPS and the police department. There's a lot of sensitive documents, and I don't care if you're coming up here and talking to the city administrator or whomever. We should just simplify this, make it a policy to where all council members should have a key and a clearance to walk around anywhere in this building. And if I'm not mistaken, Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, but to escort somebody, it's not even required to escort somebody unless they have business to take care of, right? That's connected with the PD?
Yes, sir. One of the clarifications that we received as we got more in depth on March 26th with the incident that Mr. Councilman Burton was referring to was we notified CJIS, and we got more clarification on too, if no matter if in the restricted areas that require the badge access that we were talking about earlier, if you're conducting business, it doesn't matter if you're an elected official, employees, even contractors that we have coming in, if we know that we're going to be in these areas, they're expected to do the backgrounds on their employees as well. If we're dealing with, and I think that if I'm clarifying on the question, if it's someone that we're dealing with a vendor we're having a meeting with, they're not expected to, log in to get their fingerprints done, to comply with the access training. So those are the ones that are expected to have access and escorted access to when they come in, meet in an office, and then from that point, when the meeting's over, not to allow them to just run freely around the building. So I think that's where we may have been off on our interpretation all these years. So pretty much everybody on this left side of the room, I guess to make it simple, has to have the access. Now, we can't force anybody to have the access, but you have to understand, then when you come in, it's just the common areas that you're going to be allowed in. So it's the lobby out here in the front and the lobby upstairs and on the second floor. That's it. So I'm not sure if I answered that correctly.
Yeah, Mr. Valverde, do you yield?
That's it. I'm just trying to make this as simple as possible. I mean, make it easier on everybody. Why go through all this rigmarole for nothing? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burton?
May I follow?
Yes.
What do you need from me?
We would just need to set up everything like we would do for an employee. Because I think that was one of the things that we've gone through over these years was that, well, I'm not an employee, I'm an elected official. I know I've run into that before. Well, I think we're all considered one as we work under this umbrella of this building, because we have to live as employees and civilians. So it's set up your fingerprints. And I know the place that we utilize is right across at Park 10. And then from there, it's just yearly annual training from the CJIS training that they require. So, and it is, I know there's also been some debate back and forth. So it's DPS, FBI, it's everybody all combined. Our last audit was from FBI in 2020. And that's some of the stuff that Mr. Johnson and I have been going through, because the recent audit from the recent incident that happened on the 26th, DPS is coming in, but they all communicate with each other. And the access that Mr. Sines was talking about is everything that you can imagine that a police officer has access to. So it's backgrounds, it's license plates, it's anything and everything, warrants. The way they described to me when I talked to them, because we've had other people in the past not agree on conducting their backgrounds. So they just told me that if we don't get in compliance, and being that we've had violations through the years, that they will remove our access and NCIC, TCIC.
I got that.
It
But
will be-
I don't need to know how the sausage, what's in the sausage.
Okay.
I just need the sausage. So
Okay.
what do you need from me? You want you'll set up an appointment for me to go get my prints?
Yes, sir. Just let me
You
know
want my
when you want to
driver's
go.
license? Can they use my FBI prints that are on file with DPS?
I just need your driver's license.
That's it?
Sir.
I got prints on file with DPS. so you can
Once we
use
run
them.
it, well, they'll let us know about that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Mr. Sellers?
Since this is a action item, I'm gonna make a motion to evaluate city ordinance regarding secure areas and act appropriately.
Thank you. It's a motion. Do we have a
Hold on,
second?
Before we make the motion, we'll make sure that we get it right. Okay. Clarification or amend to the motion. And understanding what you're asking is just to evaluate what we have.
What we have,
I'd like to get it to where we're gonna move forward and say, this is what we're gonna need. Otherwise, I think we're just gonna be spinning our wheels. I think it'd be appropriate to say, this is what we're gonna do, this is the way we're gonna implement it, and this is the way we're gonna move forward.
I agree with that. We evaluate what we have and add what we need to add.
To make it
That's it.
as stringent, to
That-
minimize the possibility of us losing access to the systems that our police department needs very, very critically.
So there is a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second, to move forward with implementing a policy.
Andy?
Right. But right now, the draft is going to be thank you.
Yeah. Any further discussion? I do have a comment that,
And I'll follow you.
so I just want to clarify with the police chief. So the CJIS protocols that you were referring to, they do require elected officials or anybody that is working for the city that if they want access to the secure areas, they must have a background check completed to be
Yeah.
able to get an access card, to have any access to the restricted areas.
Yes, sir. It's anybody conducting business. So it would be like if there was meetings that were going to be with Mr. Johnson, myself, if we were going to have that and we knew that that was scheduled. Now, it's not required. There's no law that says that they have to, but they have to understand at that point, then they can't come in behind in the restricted areas. So,
Right. You'd have to have it in this room or,
this room it's open.
Yeah.
It's not restricted. No, sir.
Okay.
But they still have the choice that if they don't want to conduct that, but I guess that's why I think that's what the discussion's for is
Yeah,
because
so-
it's
yeah,
kind
so
of like a
it's not-
double-edged sword.
it's
Yes,
not a
sir.
requirement. You have to do it, but if you don't, then you're not allowed access to the restricted areas.
No, sir. And then that's where we had leaned on the escorting throughout the years where we don't have that option. So it's almost like us hiring a new employee and then saying they don't want to abide by the background checks. And then we're going to escort them. That was kind of something that we had a misunderstanding through the years. Because we kind of were assigned to the city already, not like somebody that is just coming in just for a one-day visit. That we can escort those people, but not us that conduct business with the city.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
I have one clarification before I recognize you. Mr. Garza, so we do have citizens to be heard that requested to speak on these. Would now be the appropriate time to bring them before we vote? Okay, thank you. So Mr. Osei, you asked to be recognized.
Yeah, just real quick. Having worked in a secure facility for 30 years, retired from the county, I'm very familiar with the city.
This is still part of the discussion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but having retired from a correctional facility and being involved with security and CJIS and all that, I'm very familiar with the processes and what we have to do. Part of the ability to maintain our credentials, we have to do a yearly study and we have to pass a test. Part of that system, part of that test tells us you see something, you say something, you report it. Otherwise, you have the potential of losing your credentials. I take all my credentialing very seriously. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Osei. Any other discussion from council? Yes, Mr. Burton.
You know, technically, we've had unfettered access without anybody being escorted. All you got to do is walk through this door and go up the stairs. Yeah. So, you know, I don't have any, like I said, I don't have a problem doing it. I'll get mine done.
Thank you. If there's no more discussion from the council, we'll go to the citizens to be heard. We'll go in order which they were received. Ms. Weaver? Yes. You signed up for agenda item number 1? You signed up for agenda item number 1 that you wanted to speak on this? Okay, thank you. Next is Mr. White.
Thank you, council.
Mr. White, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Charles White, 211 Leisure Drive. Growing up, my real father, who was a unique character, always told me, trust you no more, trust you no less. What does that mean? If I don't put you in a position of trust, I don't have to worry about it. Because this is a police station, there are a lot of items that are on the desk and around. Personally, I wouldn't want to, you could do a background check on me, but I wouldn't want to have access to anything. And I mean, going back years and years, they've talked about putting doors up, moving personnel around. They say, well, there's too much money involved. I don't think so. As far as mail can be delivered to your home. Or mail could be, you come up and ask for it from the clerks. But the fact that this is a police station, nobody, absolutely nobody, should be wandering around the hallways, period. And that's how I feel about it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next citizen, Mr. Hernandez, did you wish to speak?
Thank you. So Chief Janahara,
Say your name and address for the record.
Jimmy Hernandez, 112 Leisure Drive, Council, City Staff, City Administrator, Chief. Chief Janahara mentioned or clarified that anybody coming to do business should go through that. And I agree. Well, one thing I don't agree with is I don't think that any council member should have unlimited access with a card. As a citizen, if something was going on, a crime or some sort of evidence, and that might have the, I guess, opportunity for it to be tampered with, I really think that you guys should make it policy, make it really clear that, yes, everybody needs to go through the processes, fingerprinting, background checks, but I don't think you guys should have access, not free access. Y'all should just be able to meet with those people that you want to talk to. And then as far as if you need to meet with developers or somebody like that, Sid Wise has generously offered the office across the street at the mall an annual lease for $1. So if you have city business to conduct with people outside, you should take up that offer. It's only $1, and I'll be willing to give it to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Next citizen to be heard is Lamar Gillian. Did you want to comment on this? All right, thank you. So there are no more citizens to be heard. If there's no more discussion, we'll put the motion up for a vote. Mr. Valverde?
Yay.
I'll vote yay. Mr. Osei?
Yay.
Mr. Sellers?
Yay.
Mr. Burton?
I'm sorry, all the discussion. What is the actual motion? Because he said it and then.
But my understanding of the motion was to analyze our current policy and bring back a policy for board approval to clarify the requirements in order to have access to the building.
Thank you. Yay.
Motion passes 5-0. The second business item is a discussion and possible action to update the newsletter ordinance to restrict council members and the mayor from posting any political statements, activities, or endorsements during election season. Again, this was brought up by me, and it's not an attack on anybody. I brought this forward because the current council relations policy or the newsletter ordinance restricts incumbent council members from having any admissions to the newsletter for the election period. And that is to prevent them from campaigning using city resources. It does not, however, restrict other council members that aren't up for election or the mayor that's not up for election to use the newsletter ordinance to advocate on behalf of other candidates, which would be utilizing city resources to campaign on behalf of somebody. And I think that violates the letter or the spirit of the law that is in place. And therefore, we should have or clarify on the newsletter ordinance that no council members, whether they're up for election or not, during election season should be using the newsletter to make any political statements, activities, or endorsements during that time period. Mr. Sellers.
I know you're targeting the newsletter, but I really believe that should include signs in your yard too. We're
Sign,
supposed to be, as city council members, we're supposed to be fair and just, okay? We're elected by the citizens. The citizens elect who's here. And for us to limit ourselves to a newsletter, what we can or can't do, but yet put a sign in our yard is two-faced. That's what I think.
Thank you for that. So the reason I put only the newsletters is because that's provided and paid for by the city, whereas political signs are a First Amendment freedom of speech rule, or, so people have a right to support their political candidates. They have a right to have any signage up that they want. And I don't think that we as a council can restrict a First Amendment right for them to support their political candidates. But as a city, we should not be utilizing or allowing people to utilize city resources to campaign.
I understand, Mark, what you're saying. But as all of you know, that I have forbidden any signs in my yard simply because I am on this council and I don't want to be put on a fence like I'm for that person or that person or this person. It's not fair to be on that position. So I would just like to include it to the yards.
Thank you for your input. Is there any other questions?
I'd like
Mr.
to
Osea?
comment on that. In reference to the newsletter, Mr. Johnson, does our legal team get an opportunity to review the newsletter before it goes to production or before it goes out to circulation?
No, sir, it's handled by myself and Michelle in regards to that.
And I just want to make sure that, is that something we should consider doing to make sure that we're not breaking any laws as it goes out?
It's really up to the council. We've done a good job and by you amending the policy, that'll give the clarification that we won't allow that. Because currently it states as Mayor Pro Tem alluded to, during the city local election, the months of February, March, April, May of every year, incumbent candidates is what it says. So if you put no
Everybody.
sitting council member, then Michelle and I know that, that's not allowed whatsoever.
Right.
I don't think that we have to expense funds with legal on, our newsletter. I think she's pretty well versed on what her predecessor looked at and stuff. But with that update, I think it would clarify it for us tremendously.
Thank you.
Do you yield? Yeah, Mr. Garza?
I do want to point out that both the election code and your policy prohibit the use of city resources, whether it's staff, equipment, for political purposes. If anyone ever believes a complaint that someone has violated, the Secretary of State does accept those complaints. I will point out that about 6 years ago, someone filed a complaint against VIA for a brochure that they sent out. And the Secretary of State came back and hit him with a $10,000 fine and said that their brochure was in violation of utilizing governmental resources for a political purpose. The city's allowed to provide factual information, but not endorsing or in support or against a proposition. So any citizen, if they believe that a newsletter or anything produced utilizing city resources in violation, I would recommend that they submit it to a complaint to the Secretary of State's office. They're the ones that would review and make that decision.
Thank you. Clarification on that. Would that fine be to the city of Balcones Heights for providing the newsletter? Or would that be to the individual that wrote the article?
In VIA, it went to VIA. The fine was because it was VIA who produced the brochure. I'm not sure whether or not since it's a city newsletter, I don't know what the Secretary of State would do, whether they would say it was the city or the individual or individuals who placed that on there.
Thank you. Yeah. And so I do want to clarify that this, if we do restrict council members or the mayor from posting political statements, activities, or endorsements during election season, it wouldn't stop them from posting articles that contain factual information, like Mr. Garza said. So if they wanted to share that, hey, this month, these functions are happening. We have the quarterly garbage, bulk pickup coming up or something like that, or these events are happening in the city. Those are allowed. It's just not saying that you need to vote for this person or vote for this agenda or this proposition or, those kind of statements or activities. Mr. Burton.
First question is, who's him? You said keep him. Who's him? Those were
The April newsletter, the mayor, Mayor Rodriguez, he did put in the newsletter that it was time to vote for change.
Oh.
So
I'd like to make a motion to follow council relations policy as is and save the expense from drawing it up, just enforce the council policy.
There's a motion. Is there a second? That motion dies for lack of a second.
Now, would it be appropriate to bring the motion back to make the change? Or how
Is
is that?
that,
Right. Right.
Okay.
So then I would like to make the motion to move forward with a recommendation to amend the policy to where we don't violate or get into any trouble in any way, shape, or form.
I'm assuming you're referring to the policy that Mr. Jocelyn pointed
Right.
out.
Is
that-
it, right,
That prohibits incumbents from putting anything on the newsletter.
right, to changing it to anybody.
Any
in your-
elected official.
Right. Just to simplify it all the way around.
Hey, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Burton?
So you want to save, you come out, I want to save money, he's not doing this for free. He's charged, what's so funny? Is there a charge for amending the ordinance?
I'm assuming, and I have not talked to Mr. Jocelyn yet. I'm assuming Mr. Jocelyn would take the first shot to review and amend and send it to me for review.
Right. So, you laugh, I mean. All right, go ahead. And do what you-
Thank you. Is there any other discussion among council? Thank you. So we do have citizens that signed up for these agenda items. Ms. Weaver, did you want to say anything on this item? So the next person that signed up on this topic was Mr. White. And again, please state your name and address for the record.
Charles White, 211 Leisure Drive. This has actually been in effect going way, way, way back. Back when I was on council, everything the newsletter went to Frank for review. Frank probably doesn't remember, but there's a couple of times he said, you need to change this. But anyway, that being said, you really have no reason. And I read Johnny's newsletter. Unless there's something in there that really bothers you personally, there's no reason to even bring this up. Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez also signed up for this item. And again, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jimmy Hernandez, 112 Leisure. I guess I just have a question. So the April newsletter that you referred to, did that like not get approved, or, you know, did it go through review? Because I think you guys already have, you know, what you want in place. Maybe it just wasn't enforced correctly, but was that not reviewed, or was it not approved legally?
It was reviewed by myself and the manager of that department, sir.
Okay.
And according to the policy in place, it stated I'm sorry, it stated anybody that was running for office. So when the mayor wrote it, he wasn't running for office, so that's why it was approved that way.
Gotcha. And as the city attorney said, if somebody feels like it was violated, then you can file a complaint. Correct? All right, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Mr. Gillen, you also signed up for this agenda item. Did you want to add anything?
Flavor of the point, I think everything in, I needed to understand it's been presented well by the council. Thank you.
Thank you. So there are no more citizens to be heard. If there's no more discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote. Mr. Valverde?
Yay.
I will vote yay. Mr. Lisea?
Yay.
Mr. Sellers?
Yay.
Mr. Burton?
Nay.
So the item passes 4-1 with Mr. Burton voting nay. So at this time, the council will move to executive session, where we will discuss and take possible action pursuant to 551.074 personnel matters to formally censure the mayor for his alleged actions and behavior regarding the Red Cross event and the multiple complaints filed by city staff.
And
The time
The time.
is
Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Pro
7:02.
Tem, can you also read the other, it's also 551.071 attorney-client consultation.
Yes, also pursuant to 551.071 attorney consultation. And the time is 6:58. The time is 7:33 PM, and we are reconvening an open session. Item number 4 is discussion and possible action on matters discussed in executive session. So I will make a motion, the motion to prepare specific violations of council relations policy and code of ethics, to draft a letter of censure to bring back to council for council consideration after providing 10 working days for Mayor Rodriguez to respond in writing to the specific violations of the council relations policy and code of ethics to the city attorney. All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a vote in a second. Is there any further discussion? Well, I don't think we can discuss. No? Oh, is there further discussion among the council? So, and there were citizens that signed up to be heard for this. Hey, so we will do a roll call vote. Mr. Hernandez, you wanted to speak? Thank you. Yes. Again, please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name's Jimmy Hernandez, 112 Leisure Drive. I just have a question followed by a comment, possible comment. was the alleged incident about his letter to the American Red Cross in DC, or was it about the physical presence there at the Gold's Gym?
We can't discuss discuss an executive session. With basically the council, the motion pending on the floor is to prepare specific allegations of violations of the city's relations policy and code of ethics. To prepare those specific violations, giving the mayor an opportunity to respond to those specific, and then bring that back to council for a potential letter of censure that the council will review at the time.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna make my statement then, or really, I want to direct this to the city attorney. How is it appropriate for the council to move forward censoring the mayor based on unproven allegations? A police report does not automatically prove wrongdoing, and as we all know, there's an ongoing investigation. And given the history of conflict between Chief of Police and Mayor Rodriguez, if there was clear evidence of a crime, an arrest would have already been made. This makes it obvious that this censure is politically motivated, especially with the election approaching. That's my comment.
Thank you. Mr. Gillian, you had signed up for this item as well?
I think everything's been covered properly.
Thank you. So we'll move to roll call vote. I'm sorry, Mr. White, did you want to say something as well? You had signed up. Please, again, state your name and address for the record.
Charles White, 211 Leisure Drive. When y'all were doing the Red Cross smoke detectors, I noticed that there were only three people's names on the brochure. And then from what people told me, you were handing out campaign information as people were getting smoke alarms. The issue is that that was a 501c. And as such, if you would have put everybody's name on council and all the candidates running, there would have been no issue concerning that. As far as a hostile work environment, nobody said anything about how the chief got his information, how it was derived. You know, you come into work and all of a sudden you're hit with, they had allegations, they had words. The point being is that there were no blows. I don't think either one of them handled it correctly. They should have gone outside or up to the chief's office. But that being said, two of the people that filed a complaint, line employees, they got promotions. Back with the police association, with the reserves that came in, the corporal that ended that program got a promotion. And actually, a hostile work environment, I mean, y'all never worked in a hotel kitchen. You never worked in the oil fields. You never worked construction. I can tell you stories about hostile work environments that this is nothing in comparison. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. White. We'll move to a roll call vote. Mr. Valverde?
Yay.
I will vote yay. Mr. Lisea?
I would vote yay.
Mr. Sellers?
Yay.
Mr. Burton?
Nay.
The motion passes 4-1 with Councilman Burton voting nay. Move on to announcements and comments and requests. So agenda item requests by the mayor and council members to be placed on a future city council agenda. Do you have anything, Mr. Valverde?
I don't.
Does anybody have anything for the future city council agendas? Mr. Hosea?
No, right now, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sellers?
I would like to put on the agenda to change 3 minutes to 5 minutes. That's
For-
citizens to be heard, 3 minutes to 5 minutes.
And Mr. Burton?
I'd like to bring back up the bus structures or bus seats for the kids.
The covered bus structures? Okay. Thank you. That brings us to adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned at 7:40 PM.